go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville-Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a very special edition today, and it's all about Women's Day Tampa. And I can't even tell you how excited I am to have my guest on, who is Donna Baran. And she has a lot to share with you, especially when it comes to motivation and support and empowerment for women. There's a special event coming up, and we're going to put our flyer up here as soon as we can, but I just want to go ahead and mention that October 5th, 2019, you can get your tickets. We're going to give you all the particulars. Women's Day Tampa is going to be an absolutely spectacular event. And I couldn't wait to have Donna come into the show to really tell us the what, when, wheres, and whys, and where to go to get your tickets and everything, and find out actually what is going on at Women's Day Tampa. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Donna Baran. Donna, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited to promote Women's Day and tell everybody about the amazing event, how we got to the point of making Women's Day in Tampa, and where we plan to go from here. So I'm excited
about it too. And I know when your husband sent me a little note saying, hey, would you like to promote to Women's Day? I go, are you kidding me? I'm a woman and I love supporting women in any way we can. So in this event, let's get all this information up front, close and personal, while you just tuned into the show. And do, by all means, call friends, text them, have them go to webeamtv.com, and we're right up there on the front page, live and unrehearsed. So we're going to go to this event, and the time is?
The time is 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., October 5th.
Okay.
It is at Sports Life in Clearwater. The address is actually on the flyer. I don't have it in my head right this second, but we will.
We'll put that up again.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. I pushed it an hour.
There's probably people who will stay after.
Yes,
so.
It will be there after. What we're hoping for is to do 11 to 3 for women's closed events and seminars, and then open it up from 3 to 4 for the husbands and spouses to come in. So that's what we're hoping for.
That's perfect. That really is. So this is going to be coming up, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do an early show, because we're going to go ahead and repost this show, and there may be some special little things between now and then that Donna's going to be coming up with, if you did watch Prime Time, and you can mention that. But you had mentioned different workshops and seminars. Let's talk about this, because there's nothing more enticing, encouraging, empowering than going and listening to these power workshops that can help you get out of your own way, or continue to encourage you if you're already on a good path and your personal growth and development, because I know you are, girlfriend.
Thank you. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Women's Day and what we plan on doing. So this event actually happened already up in Connecticut a couple of years in a row. Jamie Pender, who is actually my co-host doing the event with me, as well as my husband, we basically decided, me and my husband Chris, that we wanted to do an event where we can have women come to a safe place and discuss anything that they want to discuss, and feel like they can learn and grow and just see other people's lives and like what other people went through to get to where they are today. And there's no place like that. There's no event like that. There's business events and stuff, but there's nothing like this where it's all women in one place talking about health, fitness, personal life, family life, what they've been through, what they haven't been through, what they plan on doing, but they don't know how to get there, those type of things.
Okay, so I just wanted a word that you said, a safe place. Now, when you say a safe place, of course, we want to go to a safe place, literally in a building or whatever, but what about the people that are really sharing from their heart with you? Exactly,
and not afraid to talk, not afraid to talk about a certain situation. Our event is the Spring of Tampa Bay, and that is basically a facility that helps women and children that are domestically abused.
Okay.
When we first started this event, my big thing was researching all the different types of organizations that actually help families and women and men, and we looked at all different things. When we came across the Spring of Tampa Bay, it touched a personal part of my heart. And so as I looked into it more and more, I said, this is this is the organization I want this event to go 100% proceeds to, because I feel like that's what Women's Day is. Women's Day is helping other women, and
Yes.
that's what we, and children. The
Yes.
children have, children don't have a say. They have to just go with the flow, and if they're in a situation where they're being, abused from somebody, whoever that person may be, they need to be safe. And these women, a lot of the women coming to the event, they have been through the same thing, where they've been abused and they haven't talked about it. Well, this is the place where you can come and talk about it and share your experiences and share how you got from A to B and how you got out of that situation. And if you haven't gotten out of that situation, you're going to hear ladies that did get out of that situation. And maybe that's a way that you can get out too.
That's the inspiration and motivation that I was referring to, because I think women, even today, they stuff it and they stuff it and they stuff it.
Absolutely.
And then their children stuff it and stuff it and stuff it. And then you end up with women, it's not, PTSD is not just from being in the service. I mean, you can have such trauma in life, and so that's what I'm seeing is hope for women. I mean, really hope for women to go to this event and attend the workshops, but more importantly is to interact and engage with other women, like you're saying, is how that can help them. Now, do you have like an idea on some of the various workshops and the different parts of the event?
Yep. So we have 5 keynote speakers.
Okay, good.
I'm one of the keynote speakers. Jamie Pinder is one of the keynote speakers. We have 3 other keynote speakers that are coming in. The president from the Spring of Tampa Bay will be one of the keynote speakers. So she will give a good overview of what her facility is, what she has done from beginning to now, and just reading the story and seeing the videos and talking to her, it's very inspirational. I mean, they started with, they took one person they had a house with 1 bedroom that was free, and they took that person in. That's huge. I mean, that's like, for somebody to open up their home like that, I mean, and then grow it to what it is today, I mean, it just touches your heart. And I'm sure there's going to be tears at this event, and there's going to be all sorts of things. But it's motivational to know that people are out there like that. And we wanted to be part of that and give back. It's, you always have to give back. You have to see, what's out there and what's going on, and pay attention, and always be able to be in somebody else's shoes and say, wow, I know where she's coming from, or I know what she's thinking, and be able to help her. And it's very important to be that person that people can come and talk to you and, give that. And I think that that's what this event is all about. And I feel like the people that are coming to the event, they're going to leave with that sense of, wow, I really got something out of this event. And that's our main focus. So we do have the 5 keynote speakers. We have, I think we're up to like 8 seminars right now. How to get into competing, if that's something they're interested in, how to overcome eating disorders, how to get out of domestic abuse relationships, how to, I'm trying to think of the other ones that we're doing. Some are like for fitness stuff, like scapula, massage and different exercises and stuff. And I'm trying to think of the other ones, but that's kind of along the lines of what we're doing. And then we have vendors set up as well.
Oh, good.
We have, right now we're at about 15 vendors that are going to be setting up. They'll be giving away samples of stuff. They'll also be selling some of their products. So on that flyer, you'll see there's all logos. Those companies will be there. So if it's something that they're interested in, they want to come out and see what products they're selling and stuff, that's a great place to do it. And they'll be running specials.
And it's all targeting women. Products
Yep.
are targeting women. See, I love that. And I guess the one way to find out is to actually go to the event. And the tickets are what?
So the tickets right now are $25. At the door, they will be $40. And we will be running some kind of a special. We'll figure that out after the
Sure.
show and come
Sure.
up with some kind of a discount. And
Sure.
once you mention prime time, you'll get a discount. And I'll have that posted on the Facebook page as well.
We'll be reposting the show itself because it isn't until October.
October 5th, yeah.
So we have a few, a couple of weeks here and then some. And what I will ask of you is to please share this show to as many people as you possibly can. You never know. You might have a family member, a family member, a neighbor, a friend. We all have women in our lives that are going through stuff. And I went through my own stuff. I'll share with you off there. And we all have a story. And so, you know, you think that everybody is living in a bowl of cherries. And when really, we're living in the pits.
Yep,
And
it's the truth.
That's the bottom line. But when you can bring yourself out of that with the help of others and see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, it makes a big difference. And then when you turn around and give back and share what has worked for you. And you know what? Sometimes you may have to try a couple of different things, right?
Right.
And I often say, you know what? Yes, you can have a second take on life. Or a third take.
Or 10.
Or 10. It's whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Right? It's whatever it takes, and you must never, ever give up. So with that being said, we've gotten all the points out, and through the show, we're going to pop up the flyer for you, and we'll go over exactly where to go. It's in Clearwater, October 5th, from 11 to 4, and the tickets, we're going to have some specials if you watch Primetime. So, and these are all the vendors and the supporters of this event. It's Women's Day Tampa. I mean, you can't get a more powerful or empowering name for this, so this is great. Now, I just want to kind of segue into your story, because I'm pretty good at picking up little tidbits of what people say, that why they get into things. If something touched your heart, I'm not asking you to be personal or anything, but you've been bodybuilding, but I like what you were saying, because I didn't, you know, I'm always calling the guys bodybuilding and everything. But you have been in figure competition. Look at this woman. I mean, you are the epitome of beauty, shape, style, personality, and most of all, heart. Most of all, heart.
Thank you.
But you were giving me the stats here. 14 competitions since?
Since 2014.
Okay. And you placed with you placed anywhere from first place to fifth, but talk about how many people were competing.
So the shows, I mean, they vary anywhere from 150 people in the competition. The classes typically run like between 10 to 20, depending on the size of the class. When you go into the national level shows, that's where the classes get bigger. So I've been on stage with 45 girls at one point. I mean, the classes were just massive, where you kind of just stack up and hope to God somebody sees you back there.
That's right.
Yeah, because if you're smaller than somebody else, you're back there.
And they don't do like we pose for pictures and put the short ones in front, right?
Nope, it's you have 1 second. When you come out, that's your opportunity for that judge to say, she's got something, or put her in the back. So that's kind of how it runs. And I think the one, I did 3 different shows. The one I placed 16, or however they call it. The other one I was 10th, I think, and the other one I came in like 11th or something. So, I mean, I did good, but obviously I didn't do what I wanted to do. I fast forward 5 years later, 14 shows later. My husband competed with me the first year. That was in 2014. He did 1 show after that, and then he has put his competing on hold, and I think he just enjoys torturing me and and doing my prep and making me, train hard and keep me focused, which I appreciate, because I would never do the cooking. I would never do any of that. So that's awesome.
I know that's awesome, and he's awesome too. We're going to have both Barrons back at one point. Chris is a little under the weather today and doing a lot of coughing, so we gave him a pass today.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to share the darling story about the two of you on how you ended up getting into this figure competition, because he was a bodybuilder previously, right?
Yes. When he was younger, he competed. He got an injury that made him stop competing. 2012-ish into 13, he said, I want to compete again, but I want you to do it with me. And I said, I'm not doing that. I get a membership to the gym and I drink a latte for the entire day of work, and I'm not going to do that. So then I thought about it, and he really wanted to do it, and I could tell by how passionate he was about it. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a commitment to you. If I can do a year, then I'll do it. But I have to get through this year and prove to myself that I can stay motivated, stay focused, continue to run the businesses that I was running, take care of the kids, take care of the home, and still do this. So I got through the year, and I he said, okay, your year is up and you did it, so can we compete? So he was holding me to it. And so we competed in our first show. It was a great experience. But leading, and people who have not competed, if you can get through a prep with your spouse and children in the house, your marriage will last forever. That's my saying is, if you can get through that, you can get through anything. And that is the truth. We actually just celebrated our 18th year wedding anniversary.
Oh,
so
that's right. Yesterday.
Yeah,
Or
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep.
Happy anniversary.
Thank
Wow.
you. So, I mean, that's just a testament of if we can get through anything, I mean, we have.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, just the training alone and having to eat certain foods, and then the kids were younger, right?
Yep.
And, you know, they want to eat kid food, even though you're trying to keep them healthy and all.
Yep.
But, you know, the discipline is what I'm thinking was probably why you wanted to do this commitment for yourself for a whole year.
Yep.
And so in other words, what kind of secrets can you share? What was it that kept you, was it your husband and his passion? Is that what kept you committed?
That was a portion of it. Another portion was me making a commitment to myself and holding myself to it.
Yes, accountability.
Yes, I held myself accountable. And I said, if I set a goal and I said, this is my goal, and there was nothing that was going to get me off that track. Mm-hmm. And obviously, day-to-day stuff in business, it comes, but you deal with it and you learn how to time management. And I was up at 4 a.m. doing my cardio, but that was the time I had to do it to be able to get to work and run the business. You know what I mean? So for me, my husband was my drive, my kids were my drive, my business was my drive, and my personal goal was my drive.
Your
so
passion.
Together that all became passion, and I just went with it, and I never gave up. And I always said, I will continue to push myself until I can't be pushed anymore. And when that time comes, I'll know, because you know when that time is. And knock on wood, it hasn't happened, and I'm still pushing, and you know, so we've gone through that. We've made it through the show. We made it through his show, and then since he's just been prepping me this past year, I had some things come up, and we said, the stage is always going to be there. We have family, we have business, we have other things going on, and the stage will be there. So I postponed competing this year. I'm going to compete next year, and just still stay focused. Though, like my main focus is to stay on track and always try to help somebody. And if people are looking, always try to be that positive person for them, and them know that they can ask me a question. And I'm not going to look at them weird or turn away or judge them. Right.
Mm-hmm. That is so wonderful. I'm hearing a lot from what you're saying. So you're up at 4 a.m. doing your cardio. And at what point, and then you have kids to get off to school. Then you have a business to run, which is Barron Property Management. Giving a little plug out there for Barron Property Management, which has its challenges, I'm sure. So what time, walk me through one of those days. 4 o'clock, it's cardio. I mean, you have to be regimented to be accountable and to be committed, correct?
Yep. Up at 4 a.m., cardio, sometimes training in the morning, depending on if I had a meeting at nighttime. I was working down in Tampa at the time, so I had to travel from Trinity down to Tampa, which was an hour plus, depending on timing. I would typically leave the house by 6 a.m., get down to the office by 7, work 7 to 4. In between that, I would go out at lunchtime and do a training session. I had a coach down in Tampa, and I would train down there with them just so that I got the extra training in. Then I would come home, we would feed the kids dinner, I would eat dinner, I would go and train again, we would do cardio again. Then I would do whatever I needed to do in the house, and then sleep, lay down like between 10 and 11 and up in the morning again.
See that? So the discipline is what kept you grounded, right? And I'm also hearing balance. It's the balance. And all the working out that you're doing, too, is helping you with your energy throughout the day.
Yep.
And you crash at night and get a good night's rest, get your circadian rhythms in balance, and you're up and ready to go.
Yep.
Sounds simple, right, guys and gals? Not really, right?
So what I tell people is your biggest challenge is yourself. If you can get past that, you can do anything.
You just brought something to mind, which I heard many years ago from a dear friend of mine who has a group called The Amazing Women. I have a feeling that you believe that there is no competition that the only competition is with yourself. That's what I heard with that statement that you just said. And that in itself, ladies, is so empowering. People out there in the marketplace today, whether it's this kind of competition, any kind of competition, and well, I mean competition which you are performing for, but really we are in competition with ourselves, but yet we allow others out there to empower themselves by giving into that power. But if you can listen to what you're saying here, it's empowering just hearing you say that and giving those little tips and, you know, accountability, discipline, those two things right there, and having balance in our lives. How many of us, myself included, been there, done it? I mean, working more hours than I needed to, and it did affect my health. And when you're out there competing in figure competition or guys for your bodybuilding or sports or whatever it is, you must be regimented in a balanced lifestyle. And it's only up to you. And I love what you said about goal setting. Goal setting, oh my goodness, if you can set a goal, and it doesn't have to be a major one, right?
No.
Did you start out with baby steps?
I did.
Yeah.
My baby step was try to go to the gym 3 times a week. That was my baby step because I was going 0 times a week. I swear to you, this is a true story. We moved here. I joined the gym. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to join the gym. Gold's Gym, which used to be up here, and then it turned to Core, now it's Family Fitness. Go into Gold's Gym. I'm like, I'm going to go and do this class, right? Yeah. Went into the class, blacked out, tried to walk to the bathroom, walked into a wall, broke my nose, never went back. I swear to you.
Oh, my goodness.
That is a true story. I called him. I'm like, I'm sitting on the floor, blacked out. I just came through. I need you to come and get me. He was like, oh, my God. That was like true story. I mean, that I need to write a book about that because I'm telling you, it was, you just wouldn't believe it. And he's like, you would go to the gym your first day and you knock yourself out. So needless to say.
What were you doing? What happened?
I was doing a class and I thought I was
all that
Superman.
You still see? I love that.
And I went and I was not Superman apparently that day.
So this is a real story, okay?
Yes, true story.
I mean, you
swear.
can't make that up.
No.
So what motivated you to go back?
So then I took off for a couple of years because I was scared. And then that's when my husband decided, I want to compete again and I want you to do it with me. And I said, do you not remember the time at Gold's Gym? And he started laughing. He said, no, it'll be okay. I'll be with you this time. Okay. So, and then that's how we ended up. I kind of was contemplating it. Do I want to do this? Because I was a little nervous.
That's pretty powerful. I mean, you literally picked yourself up by the bootstraps. And, okay, so you took time off because, you know, I mean, so you overcame fear.
Fear was another thing, yes.
False evidence appearing real. You overcame that. And look where you are today. And now you're doing this wonderful event, Women's Day in Tampa. We're going to go ahead and keep putting that flyer up so that you know that you can get tickets. And would we say $20, $25 right now?
They're $25 right now. We're going to be running a special. If you're watching prime time, you can contact us and we'll get you a code. I'm going to post it onto the Facebook page. It's Facebook. Women's Day Tampa is the page. And then also you can go through Eventbrite, Women's Day Tampa, and purchase the tickets there as well.
Perfect. That's perfect. And there's going to be vendors there all set up with products geared towards women. It's going to really be a wonderful event. And I just think how many people do you expect?
We're looking at about 100. We're hoping a little more with the extra advertising that we're doing, but we're looking at probably about 100 right now.
Okay, well, that's good. Just, you know, if like we both said, we're both so on the same page. I mean, if only one person has breathed easier because they've gone to this and they've learned a little something from it, and you'll be there talking to people. You know, I want you to share something with our viewers, and it's really from your heart that you reach out to people. And I know you already by now that you don't like talking about yourself or bragging or anything like that, but she will lend a helping hand to you, and that's what I love. Isn't that what you said earlier?
Yes. So, I mean, I've had a lot of ladies come through me through text and email and Facebook and, you know, just asking questions, you know, about what can they do to lose weight? What can they do? They're thinking of competing. They want to learn how to pose. They want to, anything. And it may not be with competing. It may just be, I just want to lose weight. And there's people out there that just want to lose weight and not compete. And my thing is, I will help everybody as long as they give me 150%, because I'm giving them everything that I have left is going to them. And I don't, that's the sweat in the game. The sweat's not money. It's about giving back, and it's about helping people. And that's what I like to do. And I enjoy seeing people change, because when they change, that gives them that motivation that they need to know that they are improving and they're getting better, and they're working through those issues that they have. And they don't even know it. That's the thing, is like they have certain things that they don't even bring to the forefront until they start going through the process. And when they go through the process, then they realize, wow, I just overcame something. You know,
there's something so very true about that, because when you're in the thick of the issues and the challenges, domestic abuse or whatever it is, addictions, all of that, until you can somehow raise that awareness with yourself, or when my husband and I always say this thing, when the pain of suffering becomes worse than the pain of change, you change. You will find the way. And that's what I love about your philosophy, is you're willing to give to someone if they're willing to put some skin in the game. And I think that's really powerful. I know we have just about half of a show left, so in this last half hour, let's talk about women and some of the issues that I know we talked about, domestic abuse and the kids growing up in those families and all. When it comes to body self-image, do you find that that is one of the things that affects women and their self-confidence and all of that, as far as moving forward, whether it be in a business entrepreneurial, or whether it's just to feel better about themselves when they wake up in the morning and go, oh, I'm thankful to be alive.
Right.
Right?
So I can say that from my personal experience, competing has changed my mindset. So, and my husband can vouch for this, way back when I first graduated college and I started my career, my biggest fear was talking in front of people. I literally and I'm sure like everybody, so I literally froze and turned purple and started sweating and started stuttering, and nothing was coming out, and I was moving my lips and there was no words coming out. Literally, this is a true story. So over time, I really, again, a weakness that I really focused on, and I had to have meetings, and I had to talk at the meeting, so I had to overcome those things. So I kept practicing and working at it. And then when I started competing, that was a personal wake-up call for me, because that brought me from being in this little shell that I felt protected and I didn't want to come out of it, to now I'm getting on stage in front of hundreds of strangers that I don't know, and I'm competing. And as you're going through the process of competing, you're actually competing with yourself. That's what, all these other people on social media kind of try to get in your head, but ultimately it's you versus you. It's you today versus you in 6 weeks. What are you going to look like? How are you going to look? And you have to give 150% to that. And if not, then you're not going to make it, or you're not going to be able to move to the next step.
You're not going to achieve that goal that you're
right.
setting for yourself.
And you set that goal in your mind, and you have to be able to work through it to get to the next place, ultimately. For me, what competing did, out of everything else, put competing on the side, for me, what it did was it has taught me how to balance. It has taught me how to stay motivated. It has taught me how to, on a stressful day, I go to the gym and I work it out. So those are big things. And stress is probably the number one leading issue that women and men have. Women more because their bodies are different than men. Their stress just kind of holds on to their body, and it affects you and what you look like and how your body's going to respond to certain foods and diet and training. You can train all day long, but if you're stressed out to the max while you're doing that, you're not going to see any changes. I'm
glad that you mentioned that. And we're talking about a winning woman here who has won many competitions and is really competed out there. But like you say, the competition is with yourself. Talking about the whole stress level, there is so much to that. And what I've learned over some of the research that I've done as far as health and wellness and fitness and all that is the stress, it creates that toxin in the body. And I don't know if you were aware of this or not, but when I was aware of this, let me tell you, I really got the stress under total control, is the toxins bind to fat.
It's true.
Did you know that?
Yes. So I can tell you
So
firsthand, yes.
so you've got the stress of having this so-called perfect body, right, that they're all looking for. They want perfection when perfection is really only a direction, but the judges are looking for that perfect body, that perfect pose, that perfect this, the perfect that, right?
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
So you're under that stress alone. So, and that is above and beyond what those of us normal gals are out there just trying to live through a day of dropping 5 pounds there, trying to camouflage what we look like because we don't like what we look like, right?
Yep.
And if we can just reduce our stress levels alone, it can help us on a daily basis from morning till night. You can set those goals and feel more realistic in achieving those goals, right?
Yep. Sleep is the number one. You have to sleep. And I was a person that was sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night. It wasn't enough. My body wasn't responding to anything we were doing. As soon as I started, making it a point and focusing and making sure that I was sleeping, at least 7 hours a night, my body just said, okay, I'm up. Let's go.
You're ready to go. You're
Right.
ready to recharge, rejuvenate.
Yep.
You're ready to go. Exactly. And, I don't think a lot of people give themselves the credit to know that they need to have that at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Yep.
And everybody's so different. And, as they say, as we get older, that we don't need as much rest. Oh, yes, we do.
You do.
Everybody is so different. And you know yourself, if you're still working or people that are working, they're up late at night, 11 o'clock. And I've got some personal friends that do that. I can't work late at night. I've got my thing that I got to do, and I'm in bed sometimes by 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I've got friends that are still working. They're on the computer till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Then they're back up early in the morning, so that window of time is where our body is repairing itself.
Yep.
And we don't realize that. So we just keep pounding away, pounding away. You have got such a well-rounded personality. You've got it all. You've got a beautiful family. How old are your children?
16 and 12.
16 and 12. And what kind of example are you setting for those kids?
We try every day. Some days it's very challenging, but overall, I think they get. When we first started competing, their thought was like, what are my parents doing? Now I think they, like my son, keeps me in check. Like after I'm done competing and, you have your off season, he makes sure that I'm eating my food and I'm not eating junk. And I'll go to eat something, he goes, no, you're not supposed to have that.
Okay,
And I'm
I
like,
bet he's loving that.
you're 12. So he is keeping me in check. So I think they understand now. They're at the age that they
Yeah.
understand what we're doing and that we're trying to promote, healthy and good and just living, just teaching them, you have to work for things. And I think they get it now. And that I'm grateful for, because when they were younger, they didn't get it. It was just like, what are my parents? Why are they doing that? Don't do that.
And no matter what we do, the kids are embarrassed.
Right.
No matter what it is.
Right. And I feel like now that's not the case, which
No.
makes my heart happy. So.
Well, do you think it's because your children see the importance that it is to you as well?
I believe so, and just that they watch us work. They watch us how we balance everything, and if they have a game, we make sure we're at that game. If my daughter has to go do something, we make sure we're there. My son has to do so. Our family comes first, and then everything else comes afterwards. So that, I think, is how you become successful and how you are able to multitask and build a well-rounded life and not put everything in one basket. Because I have a saying, you can do 20 things and be mediocre at all of them, or you can do one thing and be amazing.
I love that.
Right?
I
So
love that.
if you can't be amazing at that one thing, you shouldn't be trying to multitask. You have to focus on the one thing.
Right.
And from that one thing, when you become successful, then you're going to be able to multitask, because now you have the concept of what it is to dedicate 150% to that one thing.
That is so true, and I've learned that over the years myself. And when you can focus on that, because you're training yourself to be a leader for yourself, and once it's like. It's that training program that once you get it, and you keep doing that same thing over and over and over. Have you ever studied other leaders out there, authors, and their 8 rules, their 8 laws to success or whatever? They do this because it actually works. And that's what you're doing, is you've set yourself up for success, not failure. And you've done this by walking your talk and stepping into a leadership role by setting an example for your children. And all these women out there that are watching today that are going to be coming to Women's Tampa Bay, or Women's Day Tampa. I always want to say Tampa Bay because we're Tampa Bay Multimedia here. But this is, and look at how gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous. So this is coming up October 5th. That's this year from 11 to 4. And you will be seeing the show posted and reposted shamelessly by us all, myself included, because I really want to see this be successful. You've been doing such a great job in giving some tips and all, and really what you're all about. I mean, you need to write this book. You need to. I'm going to talk to Chris. He's sitting off over
the
to
next
the side
chapter.
Here. And wouldn't you know it? I have not heard him cough one time while he's sitting off to the side, right? And if he was out here, he'd be coughing all over the place. It always works that way. But I'm going to have you two back on, definitely. We have about 20 minutes remaining. Let's share some other. I have some notes here, just for those of you that may have just tuned in, or maybe you've been listening on your way home from work or whatever it is. Donna Baran has joined us today and really promoting Women's Day Tampa. She owns Barron Property Management. So not only is she in a figure competition and doing all this to have you look as gorgeous and as healthy as you are. You look like you're 19, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, thank you.
That's been taking care of herself and all that. And to motivate and inspire women, it all comes down to really empowering them. And there's still today a lot of women that are trying to figure out who they were, who they became. How do they do it all over again? What happens when I hit this age or that age, right? I mean, how do you, okay, let's look into your future. I bet you're very confident about your future.
I'm going to continue to grow. I mean, my plan is to continue to grow Barron Property Management, my competing, my family, Women's Day, doing other events other than Women's Day. Just making everybody aware of what's going on, and if somebody has something going on and they have nowhere to go, that's what we're here for. And somebody has to always have somebody to go to.
So we've got viewers out there, women and men. We have men watching the show. If somebody is out there that has a need, who would you say to call today?
So, I mean, I guess it would depend on what that need is.
Let's say, let's start with domestic abuse.
So domestic abuse, I mean, their immediate circle first, and then if that's not getting them anywhere, then they need to go to, they have places, they have calls, call centers, they have the Spring of Tampa Bay. That's a place where you can go for protection.
Perfect.
They help you. They give you a place to live. They give you food. They give your children protection. There's multiple places like the Spring. And again, we picked that because that was who we researched and that touched my heart. But there's other places like that that will, and there's going to be other events that we'll pick other organizations that we're going to use as a charity event, just because there's so many of them and there's so many helping hands of people who are willing to help and want nothing in return. They just want you to be safe and be able to get through what you're going through. I'm available. Inbox me, Facebook me, call me. You have my number, call me.
Good.
I'm here. Jamie, my co-host, she's there. People are there. My husband, the other seminar leaders that we have at the event, everybody that we have involved in the event is willing to give back and willing to help and give that support that people need. So.
You are just so right on with this. And this community is a very, very giving community. We do so many shows, and that's one way that I like to feel like I'm giving back, is just being the voice to raise the awareness. And any time that you have any events coming up, I want you to promise to let me know.
Absolutely.
Or have Chris let me know. We'll get you on any show.
Absolutely.
You know, we'll have
Thank
you
you.
come back. We'll repost the shows, and really repost the awareness is what we're doing. And if you have been a challenged person, a woman out there that has challenges with any type of situations that maybe you haven't shared, maybe today is the time for you to stop and think about it. Kind of search your heart, search your soul. Are you in a situation that you know in your heart needs some improving, or if not, getting out of the situation? And maybe you just have some minor little challenges. You know, I've talked to so many women at this stage of my life, and 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, and you know, getting back to the different challenges that we face at different ages, I noticed that, you know what, in my 30s I could work out, I could do just about whatever. When I hit my 40s, it started right there. Well, the eyes went, and then this goes, and the pooch, and from having kids, and all of that. So I had to work out a little bit harder. When I hit my 50s, I had to raise the bar again, work out a little bit further. 60s, same thing, only a lot harder. But you know what? I feel like at 70, I've truly arrived to where I want to be today. So, and believe me, if I can do this, you can do this. Because I stood in the food stamp line right up here in Newport Richey as a single mom. And I'm going to leave you with that little thought, and you'll hear more about that down the road in our shows. But I wanted to say that because you never know what another person is going through.
Right.
And we put on the mask. Oh, how are you? I'm doing fine. How are you? And that's not the truth.
That's the truth.
And you don't have to live that way. And people like yourself that can raise this awareness, come on the show, get involved. You're using yourself as an example. You're using your family as an example. You step up in this leadership role. And guess what? Every single one of you ladies out there are leaders. You are leaders. And that's what I love that you're bringing out and raising that awareness to let women see. Did you ever have a self-esteem issue when you were growing up at all?
I did.
Did you?
I did. And growing up, I'm one of 6. We had 6 siblings in my house.
Ah.
My mom was a single mom, raising 6 kids.
Oh, my goodness.
Doing what she had to do to make sure we had food on the table. Did we have the best life? Probably not, but we did, because she did everything she had to do to make that the best life.
I hear you.
So as we were growing up, you'd think there's got to be another way. Something's got to give here.
Yeah.
And that was always my goal, was to change that.
The dynamics.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it just, everybody goes through something, like you just said. Like we have, we've hit rock bottom multiple times. We've had multiple businesses. Mm-hmm. They don't all work out. And guess what? The people that let one thing determine the rest of their life are the people who have nothing. Mm-hmm. You have to keep moving forward. You have to keep pushing. If that doesn't work out, move to the next thing. If that doesn't work out, move to the next thing. Something's going to stick, something that you're really good at, and that's where my give 150% to one thing instead of trying to do 20 things that you're mediocre at, because you will never succeed.
Right.
You become really good at one thing, and that's what I did. I mean, we tried so many other things. I became really good at property management, and now here's where we are. We have a business. We're doing very well. We have, great clients. And again, my motivation for that is giving them a place, the owners, the board members, that they can come to me and feel comfortable. And that doesn't exist in most of this world.
Not in corporate
So
America. You're right.
My goal is customer service. Nobody cares what you're doing on the back end, if you're doing paperwork, if you're cutting their checks. That doesn't matter. What matters is, are you giving them the attention that they need when they need it, and helping them through situations?
So basically, you're very customer service oriented.
That's the whole business is based around that.
And that's what we need today. That is definitely what we need. And when you put your heart into your business, it just shows there again, leadership. And how long have you had Barron management, property management?
We're almost 5 years in. I was working for other companies though prior to 2017. I went actually off on my own. We had the company, but we just had it. And then 2017, we went off, got our first community, and we've just been growing since.
See, so you know what? Are you hearing what Donna's saying here? You tried several different things, and it wasn't for you, but you found the niche. You found your passion on a lot of different levels in your personal life and in your business life. And so it's come together for you.
Yep.
So my husband and I, the same thing. And I'm sure many of you have your own stories out there that you could share with us where, you're up, you're down, you made it, you lost it, you made it, you lost it. Live for today.
Yep.
Right? Did
That
you
is.
not have to take one day at a time?
Absolutely. And you may be 10 steps ahead and you have to take 3 steps back.
I know.
It happens.
I know.
But that molds you to the person that you are becoming. That's how you become who you are, because you don't let a day define you. You let your goal define you, and you just keep pushing forward.
Did you find, Donna, in your heart of hearts, that, because we talked about when we started the show, is your passion. It was your passion to do this. Do you find that passion is what gives you that burning desire of your heart to move forward and set those goals and achieve those goals?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's if your inner soul is what you need to work on first. So like any of the ladies out there that have things going on or personal issues or whatever, it's your inner goal that your soul, you need to basically dig down in your soul and dig as deep as you need to go until you find the issue and fix it.
Thank you for saying that, and that's really the bottom line. I've talked to so many women as we add years to our life, and it's cyclic. Women go through these cycles. I have various women that go through like every 10 years, every 5 years, they're trying to redefine themselves for other people. But is that what we really want to do? No.
It's got to be for yourself.
Exactly. And as kids, so many of us have been raised to fulfill the goals of our parents. And we have a gal that comes on our Women Unscripted show. And she talks about how she was goaded into becoming a lawyer, and she didn't want to do that. And she finally gave up the idea. And now it's Maura, I know you're out there, girl. She's traveling all around the world. She's the ambassador of happiness. You'll get to meet her
awesome.
one day. I know.
I need to meet her for sure.
She's all over the world traveling,
That's
spreading
great.
happiness.
That's awesome.
And that's why when your husband said, hey, I hear you're doing a show over at John's studio. And then he said what he said about Women's Day and everything. I didn't even hesitate, because you know what? There's just something about women when we stick together and we support one another. And the one thing that I firmly believe in is when we can give of ourselves and not expect something in return, that's when we're really giving. Because
True.
it doesn't have to come back to you. You don't have to expect something or you're not giving.
No.
And many times I've talked to people where, well, they're not going to help this person unless they give them this or that or this or that. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't raised that way.
No.
Why? Why do we have to expect something in return? It'll come to you anyway.
That's the thing is, you give, and if you give and make somebody's life better, you're making yourself better.
Exactly.
That's what you're getting. You're getting in return. You're
that's the gift.
Building your.
Thank you.
You're building your self-esteem. You're building yourself, because how good does it feel to be able to donate something or to do a charity event where it means something? You already won. You already feel like you won. Like
I know.
the people coming and what people walk away with, that's all just an extra bonus.
Yes.
Because you already won by thinking, we're going to do this event. It's going to be a charity event. It's for this cause. This is what the plan is for these women. Here's the seminars that we're doing. Here's what you're going to get out of those seminars. You already won.
Exactly. You win by stepping into the ring. That's it. So, I mean, I want you ladies to think about that. Have you had any dreams that you put on a shelf? Maybe you were raising your children. Maybe you were putting your husband through school or yourself through school. And Donna, in all honesty, is it ever too late?
It's never too late. It's never too late to, again, it all begins inside your head. If your head says you can do it, you can do it. If you talk yourself out of it, you're not going to move forward.
No.
I had this conversation the other day with somebody, and I told her, it's in your head. Mm-hmm. You need to get those. If somebody in your head's telling you can't do it, kick them in the face and do it.
Yes.
You have to keep pushing through it, because if you don't, you're going to let the voices win.
Oh, you just took the words right out of my right out of my head. The voices, that little voice in your head. You know, we only have about 6 minutes left, but to the point that I was raised being told I was stupid all my life. And, you know, the funniest darn thing is that voice has been fading and fading away through my own personal growth and development. And telling that voice, wait a minute, no, I can do this, and I will do this, and I did do this.
That's right.
And so, you know, our parents do the best they can with what they have to work with. And sometimes we hold them accountable. Sometimes we have this hate or love relationship with them. And Donna's right. There's so many things that we can do to help ourselves in personal growth and development, and it's just really taking the first step. Listening to talk shows with people like yourself that has grown, and I mean grown unbelievably in business, in a personal family life, with children, a wonderful husband, a supportive man in your life as well. And it just cracks me up, the story that you share about how you joined the gym, and he did a really good, he knew how to tap into your passion. Boy, he did a great sales job on you.
I'm telling you, he is definitely my other half. That is like when people say you're soulmate, yeah, he is definitely my soulmate. He finishes my sentences. He knows what I'm thinking before I say it. He is my biggest fan. He pushes and pushes and pushes, and that's what motivates me, though. Knowing that when I do something, it makes him happy, that motivates me to keep pushing. And the kids are the same way. Like, knowing that the final end result is going to make them happy, that's my fire.
I think you're setting such an amazing example for your children, and for them to see your engagement with one another as not just husband and wife or mother and father, but as human beings, and giving back. Don't be surprised as your kids get out there, if they haven't already, getting involved, because I hear this from so many families. When you are giving back in the community, and I mean, the kids just follow suit. They just follow suit. And that's what it's about. In today's world, in the volatile times with the stress, I mean, turn on the news, turn on politics, ay, ay, ay. It's like we want to cocoon ourselves.
I know.
We just want to cocoon ourselves and, you know, be in that happy place where we're loved, we're nurtured, we're fed, and we've got a non-leaky roof over our head. I mean, it's like the little big things in life that makes life worth living.
Absolutely.
And so, with just about 3 minutes left, what kind of goal setting do you have for next year? Let's take 1 year, if you have it. If not, we'll have you come back.
No, my 1 year is to continue to grow the management company. After Women's Day, our plan is to start planning another event for next year around the same time, somewhat on the same lines of Women's Day. We have some ideas on how to tweak it a tiny bit, but ultimately this is the event that we plan on doing every year now.
Great.
We also want to start to look at doing other shows for the management company and for the real estate and that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of stuff kind of cooking in the pots right now. We just want to get through Women's Day, make sure that's successful, and then start to continue to build on everything else. But there's always a goal, and that's That's our motto, is there's never a dull moment. It's always, we're always working on something and trying to move forward.
And that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you young and youthful and
Yep.
alive and vibrant. And to know that you're helping people achieve their goals. That's fabulous. If we could just go ahead and pop up our flyer and talk about the event once again. It's Women's Day Tampa. It's October 5th. From 11 to 4. The tickets are $25 that you can get today, or if you want to wait until you get to the door, if there's room for you, you're going to be paying $40. So, and will it be worth $40? Absolutely, from what I'm hearing from Donna, with all the different vendors and entrepreneurs that are there to help women grow in their lives, improve themselves, empower themselves. That word is big. When you are empowered, trust me, you know it. Right, Donna?
Absolutely.
Yep. When you know, when you're empowered, you know it, and you clearly have no issues speaking out publicly now.
I still get a little embarrassed sometimes. It takes me a little bit.
You're just being real, and that's what people love when you can be real. Because I had that same self-esteem issue. I was afraid to talk in front of people as well.
And now look at you.
I swear I did. Oh my goodness, it was crazy stuff. I'll tell you all about that after the show. But with a minute remaining, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you're a woman out there, I want you to share this show. It'll probably be ready later tonight or first thing in the morning. We'll be reposting it. We're at webeamtv.com, and this was a special edition for primetime, and we do that every now and again when we have someone that comes in that has something really powerful to share with you. Donna Baran, you are amazing, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. This woman is an amazing woman and very unscripted today, but I can assure you that you will be glad when you go to this Women's Day event. Look Donna up if you have any challenges. You know, private message Donna, and just, follow her, because I'll tell you, she's a household word already, and who knows? Maybe she'll be having a book out for you at some point with all of her tips. If you want some tips on building that great body, building your self-esteem, and empowering yourself. You've heard the show today. If you're just tuning in and you may have missed it, just wait, because we're going to repost it. Thanks for being with us. You have a wonderful evening. God bless.
Thank you.